Ryan, you said competitive excellence probably as much as anything this year, and you
Yep.
guys have obviously done that well. You've got a game this weekend, but there's the big one coming in 2 weeks. How do you guys keep attention on Maryland, make sure no one's looking ahead to get to where you want to go before that game?
I think it's something that comes up every week. It comes up every year, this time of year. So what we try to do is like you said, the competitive excellence focus is something that we talked about early on, so that when we got to a moment like this, you don't just walk in a Tuesday meeting and say, guys, okay, we got to really focus on this week. Well, we've been saying this all along. And, March Madness starts the first week of the season around here. And so you just have to embrace that and understand what it means to bring it every single week. Now we're working, the game at the end of the year, every day out of the year. So that's not something that is out of the ordinary to know that that's always in the back of our minds, but that's like that every week. So our focus right now is on Maryland, going down there at 3:30, playing really good football, and then going from there.
Fourth row right, Cameron T. Robinson, The Athletic.
Ryan, kind of to expand on that, you mentioned it even last week that you guys prepare for the game at the end of the year all year long.
Right.
I know you're not sitting here watching Michigan film, so what goes into preparing for big games on a weekly basis for you guys?
Well, I just think it's a mindset. It's something that we've done in the off season. We do all along. But right now, again, the focus has to be on how we play on Saturday, and that's building towards the end of the year and playing our best football in November, because we know we have to play our best. We have an opportunity to go 11-0 this weekend and still not have reached one of our goals yet. It's just sobering, but it's the facts. So we know that, and it's part of that building process, week in and week out, to be playing our best football in November, and that's what we focus on. And so we got a really good opponent here in Maryland. They've played some teams really well this year. And you look at the teams that they played and the scores and what they've done. Mike's done a good job of recruiting some really good athletes there. I think Taulia is a very talented quarterback. They have some weapons on the outside. And they've played good on defense. I think they're stout over there, and they've played well this season. So, we've been in battles with these guys before. We've been in the same situation in 2018. And, that game went into overtime. So, Mike does a really good job, and we're going to have to play really well.
You guys have 11 days until the big one here at the Shoe. What do you need to see at Maryland to know that this team is ready?
I don't think there's anything that we're going to say, now we're ready to go play this game. We just got to keep doing what we're doing, keep preparing the way that we've prepared, play well, find a way to win the game, and then move on to that one.
Coach, you've said all year it doesn't matter who you're playing, it's about what you guys do. With that said, this is the time of the year you want to be playing your best ball. Obviously the big one's looming. How close are you to playing what you would consider your best ball, and what do you want to see better this week?
I feel like if you say you're playing your best ball, that means you played your best ball last week and you can't get any better than it the next week. So I think it's this constant build and growth towards maximizing yourself in all three phases. Do I think we've played our best football yet? No, I don't. I think that we can play better in all three phases, and we're going to have to go reach our goals. So this is a constant chase towards, being the best version of ourselves. And every week, that's the goal, is just to get better. And how fast can we get better in certain areas? And I think I've shared with you the challenge sometimes is the issues are there. They may not get exposed every week, but you got to identify what those issues are, and that's the art of coaching.
With that said, we know what's down the road. Do you feel an intensity shift, especially this week?
We'll see as the week goes on, but our guys know what our goals are. We talked about it at the mid-year. We were 6-0 going in to the bye, and we said, none of our goals have been met. I reminded the guys on Sunday, none of our goals have been met. They know what's on the table, but in order to go reach our goals, we got to win this game too. It's part of the game. You got to win them all, and so we'll keep that one in the back of our mind like we do every single day out of the year. But we're going to focus on beating Maryland on Saturday.
Right, in a couple of years, we're going to be in a Big Ten with no divisions, and if that existed this year, you guys would already be guaranteed of playing Michigan after the Michigan game, playing them again for the Big Ten championship. Just curious how you think that changes the vibe around that game. Are you okay with this new setup in the Big Ten, even though it's going to come with something that maybe compromises what you get out of that game?
I remember initially thinking that very thing, but until you just said that, hadn't given it much thought recently. But it certainly does make you think for a second. I can't tell you I'm in a place to be focusing on anything other than trying to beat Maryland and going after those guys. But that'll be very unique for sure. I guess more like an NFL situation where you may have to play a team multiple times, and that would kind of affect maybe your game planning. But we'll worry about that when we get down the road.